Welcome back to InsideBoxing Throwdown. My name is Steve Johnson. My co-hosts are Radio Martinez and Eric Sugarfoot Duran. This episode we're going to talk about some action-packed fights we have coming up here in Denver on July the 19th at Red and Jerry's on Oxford and Santa Fe. Airtight Promotions Boxing, Steve Mestis. In the main event, we'll have Brad Jackson versus Giovanni Merceron. In studio, we have Brad Jackson. We're going to talk to him about the fight that's coming up, get his opinions, his predictions, and all that's going to happen in just a few seconds. Welcome back. Here we are in studio with Brad Jackson and myself and Eric Sugarfoot Duran. We'll be talking to Brad about his upcoming fight, an exciting, should be action-packed fight, where Brad will take on another local boxer here, not Eric, but we have Giovanni Merceron. These two guys are going to mix it up. It's going to be a great fight, and we'll get right into it. Eric?
Brad, it's coming out in these days leading up to the fight that you feel a little bit disrespected that a guy with 2 fights is calling out someone with your experience. Tell the fans how you really feel about this fight.
Well, I picked it because, Chris Morris chose me out. Giovanni don't know nothing about this. But for years, ever since I've been boxing, I've been reading stuff that Chris Morris says. Everybody has a right to their opinion. I can't stop nobody from what they say or what they think, But, I get criticized a lot since I came in this business. And majority I did it by myself. Of course I've trained with the best trainers, every best trainer in Denver, Colorado, and I've learned from them, but majority I've been doing it by myself. So, I read interviews, whatever, oh, Brad's doing this, Brad's doing that, Brad got to take these fights for the money or whatever, and I actually don't. I own my own boxing gym. I run a nonprofit for at-risk youth. So I'm doing it, and I do it all by myself. Because one thing about Colorado is a me state. Nobody in Colorado will blow up in any business what they do, because Colorado's a me state. It's all about me. I. Colorado does not support. If anything, Colorado tears down. Like, how the hell 2 persons with 2 fights want to fight me? I fought qualified fighters. I fought championship fighters. I've been in Madison Square Garden, win, lose, or draw. No matter what, I still came, and I still brung it. So, and I did my experience. My experience is 11 years. I didn't start boxing until I was 27. And an angel woke me up and told me to start boxing. So that's when I know it's meant to be. I searched for it. There's not one thing I haven't done in this world. Really. Sports or whatever. And boxing chose me, so it was meant to me for me to box. So people say, oh, your age. I haven't took all them shots. Yeah, I'm up there in age, but shit. My kids' friends that tell you, I ain't no 37. Do I look 37? I don't act 37. My kids that I train out of my nonprofit, they'll tell you that I ain't no 37. Age ain't nothing but a number, So
this is a professional sport, but it seems like this fight in particular, compared to the couple before, sounds a little bit more personal to you.
Yeah, because, Chris Morris and Grudge, they always down me. No matter if they see me, they always give me the cold shoulder. I ain't never done nothing to nobody in this game. And it's the whole crew. You included. I can feel the animosity. I can feel it. I'm very spiritual. I can feel y'all smile in my face and talk behind my back.
Hold on.
Listen. You have to my face.
On the phone too?
But
on the phone.
When I hear, nobody's helped me. What
did I not give you context?
No, you did not. No, you did not. You always said that you have, but you didn't. But you did not. I promise you. Everybody in Colorado, I've always gave an opportunity, but nobody's came to me. You've always said you give me contacts, but you never did.
Okay.
I promise you that. And I hear it. I got a lot of friends in this world. I've never burnt no bridges. With nobody. And I hear, when you guys tell people things, you don't think they come back and tell me? It gets around. Boxing in the community is small in Colorado. I hear it. And then for you guys to be like, oh, Brad's this, I got qualified. You know what I'm saying? I'm qualified. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And for you guys to be like, oh, okay, you guys been wanting me to fall for 6 years since I've been a pro. You guys always look down on me. And now y'all like, okay, now we got this little house nigga, you know what I'm saying? We got this house nigga. We'll get him. And yeah, he can beat Brad Jackson. Brad Jackson ain't nothing. Yes, Samantha, I was a fighter, Brad Jackson.
You
know what I'm saying?
You are.
Exactly, but you know what I'm saying? You guys, it's like you guys, I'm a very, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? I'm very underestimated. Very underestimated and very, you know what I'm saying? And this boxing world in Colorado is treating me like shit. But you know, it's boxing. It's not even the fighters. It's the people outside of it. The writers, the coaches. You know what I'm saying? But it is cool because all the good people in Colorado I'm real close with. Now I got Donald Camareri training me. You know what I'm saying? He's my trainer now. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's the one who asked to train me. So, and this camp has been a real good camp. I'm on a different level. I'm on a different level.
Let's take this interview, you know, to another thing. You're with Donald Camarena, former world champion.
Yeah.
He's becoming a great trainer right now. Tell us about how camp is going.
Shit, camp is going real good. He's getting me to where I need to be. You know, he's made that style. He knows that style. I know how to break that style down. Everybody fights that way. You know what I'm saying? And to tell you the truth, they don't know how to master it. Mayweather and Andre Bruno, in my opinion, are the only two who mastered that style. Everybody else is a pretender. So if you really don't know how to put that style, and he ain't never been put under the pressure. You know, experience is a motherfucker. When I fought, let me see, who would I fight? When I fought William Nelson. The experience, when I got in that ring, I knew I was beat. Just the way he approached himself, the way his spirit was humongous. Humongous. I was not on his level. I shouldn't have fought him, but I took the fight still. You know what I'm saying? I got to see where I'm at. Yeah, and he showed me. Oh yeah, experience is a motherfucker in this game. It ain't, and when you got experience, I got experience corner. I got DeVero in my corner. I got Rolando in my corner, who knows a lot. He don't do that much boxing, but he knows a lot about boxing. You know what I'm saying? I got Donald in my corner. I got Donald's people in my corner. Now I'm getting bigger. I mean,
well, I didn't know that there was all this animosity between you guys. I thought it was a simple thing of you were feeling a little bit disrespected, totally just because a guy with 2 fights that would call you out. I thought that's what it was. I didn't know that there were these other things. And when you say, you guys, I know you're not talking about me because I've never written anything bad about you. You know, when you were with Smitty's one of my best friends, and every time that you fought, the times that we've met, we've always, like you said, we've exchanged pleasantries. It's unfortunate to me, for me to hear that you think that Colorado, that everyone in Colorado is just in the business of tearing down each other. Because I'm on the other end of that spectrum. I always feel like we're in a position of trying to build up all the Colorado fighters. If you've read any of my columns, you'd see where I've been accused, and rightfully so, of being so pro-Colorado that a lot of people don't want to read it. But once they understand that, that's what I do. I'm helping promote Colorado fighters. That's it. But moving on to that, and I'm gonna leave that alone. I do want to ask you, Brad, what do you think about this fight? I mean, it sounds to me like your animosity is not against Giovanni. It's outside of that. But let's just go with Giovanni. He's a kid that's got 2 fights, 2 professional fights. He's got a good, strong amateur boxing career. He wasn't allowed to advance any further in regional competition because of the rules that are instituted in amateur boxing with USA Boxing. But he's a kid that's looking forward to going along the same path as you. He's got to do it on his own or whatever. Just knowing what you know, if you know anything about Giovanni, what are you looking forward to in that fight?
well, look at it like this. Is he more experienced than Jeremy Ramos in amateurs? They both.
No, he's not.
Exactly. Everybody thought Jeremy Ramos was gonna whoop my ass. Oh, he gonna get Brad. Brad ain't got no experience. He gonna get Brad. He gonna get Brad. Man, I know how to box, and I've never got beat up ever. I've never got knocked out. Now TKO, yeah, but I've never been knocked out. I've never been. My face ain't been battered and bruised. I take care of myself. So I mean, when I watch him, I'm right there. I do the lights at all Steve Messer's shows. He blessed me with that gift. So when I'm up there, I watch every single fighter. I mean, who has he fought? Really? Who has he fought?
He hasn't fought anyone. You're right about
Exactly.
That.
So and this is why I come back to saying they try to tear down people in Colorado because they're trying to build him up. Why are you gonna put him in there with somebody who's pretty much a killer? I don't have a losing record. My record is not bad. It's higher than what it's about 800. You know what I'm saying? Give and take 750, 800. Come on now. With 2 fights. I mean, really. Look, they messed up Jerry Ramos' record.
You do have some valid points, Brad. And speaking with Giovanni, it's not more of he's calling you out or trying to be disrespectful with only 2 fights. He's had 2 or 3 fighters pull out on him because they will not fight him. They took the fight with Brad Jackson because they know Brad's going to show up to the weigh-in, Brad's going to show up to the fight, and Brad's going to bring the fight. You know what I mean? It's not more disrespect. They're looking for better competition to better themselves, just like you are when you go on the road against a Willie Nelson, a Tommy Rayon. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand, but the words that I hear is you know what I'm saying is.
But who do you hear them from?
Huh?
Who do you hear them from?
From reliable sources, some very reliable sources.
Okay.
I mean, you know. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm ready, and I am going to bring this fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bring my A game. I promise you I will bring my A game, and I'm going to do like I always do, box. That's what I do. I box. I don't brawl. Good luck hitting me. Good luck hitting me.
Well, let me just say this. This has been interesting. I'm
Very.
glad to hear the excitement that you have, and your excitement is borderline anger. You know, because you being a professional, you know what you're going to do. You know how to handle yourself. I will tell you this, just speaking from my end, okay? I can't speak for everyone, but I'll speak for me. I'm in the business of promoting Colorado boxers and not promoting as having a financial investment, just promoting Colorado boxers. And I'm going to wish you the best, just like I would wish Giovanni the best. You know, I want to see both of you put on a good performance. So whoever wins, it doesn't end there. And people say, hey man, that was a great fight between 2 Colorado boxers, and we want to see each one of those guys, whatever avenue they go, we want to continue to see them. Okay? So that's where I want it to go. I think that's what we want everyone to do that watches this. And because of that, right now, let's take a quick break. Okay? And we'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit more with Brad Jackson, so don't go away.
Welcome back to Inside Boxing Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez. Our co-host Steven Johnson had to step out. He had another appointment to go to, so we're going to finish the segment with Brad Jackson, Eric Duran, and of course Brad. Thank you for being on the show again.
Thank you for having me.
I think it's important because when we talk about issues, and we talk about issues that not only face Colorado, issues like that are common across the country. I mean, you get into some camps that I've talked with people out in from the Louisiana to Texas to everyone else, and they have similar issues, you know. And unless you're a fighter that's promoted by a big time promoter like Golden Boy or Top Rank or any of the Ballas or anything like that, you really don't get the what can I say? The fair shake,
yes.
The fair shake in boxing, and that advantage. So you're kind of in a position. And Brad, I followed your career since you started. You know, I trained Donald Camarena. You were in the gym plenty of times. We worked out. You've had very good people in your corner. World champion, the DeVero Williamson. Of course, Donald Camarena now getting you ready for this fight. And you've always been one to step in the ring and do what you had to do, even though you were working with a local promoter like Jim Smith, Smitty. Okay, a far cry. Any of us small promoters, far cry from a top rank. So, you know, I feel your frustration. I felt it with fighters that I've trained in the past. I feel it with fighters that I train now, and of course, you know, right now I've got a couple of amateurs that I'm being really careful because these guys have such a bright future that I don't want them to fall into that same little
pitfall
that's going to hurt him. So let's get on to this fight, because obviously people out there watching kind of realize that there's a thing here where you took this fight not so much to prove a point to your opponent, but to prove a point to everybody.
Yeah.
To everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what you said when you said basically, you started at a late age and you didn't pick boxing. Boxing picked you.
Yeah.
And you're 37, but you're in sound mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
and physically he's in great shape. Always has been.
And he's. I mean, you're not stuttering. You're not been hit on the head. You're actually in pretty good shape for your age, and that's what determines a boxer, Eric. What determines a boxer when they get old and it's time for them to retire? Usually they get hit too much.
Yeah, usually it's that they've been in too many ring wars. Their body physically breaks down. But Brad had spoke something about a fight in his past. 3 fights ago, you took on Willie Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And you said going into that fight, when you stepped into the arena with him, when you met him, you felt a different aura about him, his experience and stuff like that. And what did you learn from that fight, and what did you take back with you from that experience?
Well, when I met him, it all is what it is. But when we stepped in that ring, it's hard to explain, and I think spiritual fighters know what I'm talking about. His spirit, it was his spirit. His spirit was huge. It's undescribable. You can't see it, but I could feel it. And his skill level was just totally. I wasn't on that level, and I knew I wasn't on that level. Even after the fight, I even told him, "Man, I wasn't even on your level." But I would have never known that if I wouldn't have had to went out there and fought him. But what I took from that was that's how I have to be. If for me to be on this level, this is what I have to do. So it taught me what I got to do to be on that level. To compete to compete on that other level, because the elites right here, I'm like right here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And now that I got with Donald and some experience, I jumped up a level. And that's what that fight taught me. If you want to be on this level, if this is how these niggas bang, so this is how you gonna have to fight.
You know what? You bring up a good point, Brad, and just to let everybody out there know, Brad's last 2 fights have been similar to this fight. They've been outstanding amateurs, making their move into the professional ranking, and they both picked Brad, and these are his last 2 fights. And they both picked Brad, saying this is going to be my stepping stone, and they both were surprised. We talked about it. One was Bobby Atencio, which everyone had a lot of faith in. They thought he was going to make it real big in the pros because of his amateur pedigree and just the way he boxed. And guess what? He picked on experience. He failed. Then he came back and he took on Ramos.
4-0.
Okay, who was 4-0. Same scenario. Came in and says, I'm going to pick on an older guy, got the experience, and guess what? Bit off a little too much to choose. Now, Brad, this is the same type of scenario. Here you got a guy with 2 fights. Okay? 2 fights into the pro rankings. Everyone's kind of thinking, okay, well, he may be the next thing to be a decent professional fighter, but still he's only got 2 fights. And we did an interview with him. He was on just before you were, and we had a chance to talk to him. I was kind of a little surprised where he had only had maybe 20 amateur fights, where I actually thought he had more than 20 fights. And 20 amateur fights, you and I know, is not a whole lot of amateur fights. So he's basically really inexperienced when it comes to the ring. So, Brad, how are you going to make that experience work for you? I mean, do you know what to expect from him? I mean, is he going to come at you? Do you feel he's going to come at you? Is he going to try to box you? I mean,
well, for what I've seen of him, the 2 fights that not even went 2 rounds, you really can't even really tell. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's heavy-handed. You know what I'm saying? So of course, I don't want to get caught slipping. You know what I'm saying? So I always want to be on my P's and Q's all 6 rounds. So my jab, good luck getting close to me. My jab is so good, and now with Donald, you know what I'm saying, he's made it a little more efficient and a little more endurance to it. So my jab, good luck getting to my jab, and my jab just is gonna open up to everything else. So I'm relying on my jab and my footwork, because my footwork really, who can really stop me? Neither two. And and it's funny because when people see me from the ring, you know what I'm saying, I don't look that good. When they're on the outside looking in, I don't look that good. They're like, oh, I see stuff. But when you actually get in there with me, it's a different story.
Different picture.
Just like Mayweather. When you get in there, the things that you thought that you could do goes out the window. Because now I got you thinking. Now I'm like, oh, you know, and how is he gonna react under pressure? And somebody who hits hard too, because I ain't no bitch. You know what I'm saying?
So you're hitting
No. Yeah. So.
That's
I mean, what's gonna happen when, you know what I'm saying, when he's really feeling these punches?
And Eric said that in the last segment with Gio, that, you know, you're heavy-handed. You carry your punch.
I think anyone who remembers the Matthew Chavez fight will never question how hard you can hit. I don't think he's ever returned from that punch.
And he hasn't.
You seem very confident. Obviously, this is a little bit personal. You say you're gonna box, but do we see Brad in a slugfest in this fight where Brad says, you know what, I can outbox him if I wanted to, but I want to make a statement, not just boxing but personal wise.
You know what? I never know until I'm in that ring. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person, because I don't know what's gonna happen, because when I step in the ring, I'm a different person. You know, it ain't Brad, it's B Loco. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm gonna do. If it happens, it happens. But like Donald, I listen now. You know what I'm saying? Because being one thing with going with Donald has truly made me humble myself. Truly. I mean, before I went to Donald, the day I went over to Donald, I was like, yeah, man, watch at weigh-ins, I'm gonna be flipping over tables, I'm heated, woo. And then him making me humble myself to him has made me humble myself in life. It's kind of it's crazy. It's like a transformation. Because when I went to Donald, it was like meant to be. Because he called me. He was like, man, let me train you. Because he knows I train myself. He's like, let me train you. And it was like a transformation. And by me, because you know I'm all hyper, I speak my mind, you know, whatever. Not at Donald's. I'm the only one who yells in here, woo. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of times I kind of snapped at him, and then he just came at me like, man, nobody in this gym talk to me like you talk to me. I know you don't have a trainer, and you know you little buck wild, you know, so that's why I'm taking it, because you are a good fighter, you know. And so him making me humble myself made me humble myself for this fight, because even though I'm all riled up, and I take this fight real personal, I'm not fighting off emotions. You know what I mean? Because a matter of fact, I fought and this is what I learned. Steve Martinez. I was beating his butt. I promise you I was. I had him cut, everything. And me fighting off emotions got me caught. And caught me, and he caught me with a check hook and hit me. I ain't never been hit like that ever, and never will again. But man, my eardrum was hurting for 3 months, for real. And that was fighting off emotions. So now I'm always, and then being with Donald, he keeps me kind of grounded. He keeps me grounded, and then me being humble, and I've really humbled myself to this fight.
You know, I like that. You know, I'm very familiar with Donald. I trained him for his entire professional career. 5-time champion. I mean, we were in Floyd Mayweather's camp 3 times. Sparred his chief sparring partner. So you can ask Floyd about Donald. Okay, so I know exactly the work ethics you're going through. Okay, I know, and it's only going to help you in your training. I mean, there's nothing negative you're going to get. You're going to be so much more prepared mentally and physically. So that brings me to a question, Eric, because I'm kind of on the borderline here, because here we got an experienced fighter in Brad Jackson. Okay, that's got what, 25 fights?
Yeah, it's his 25th fight. Yes, 25
fights, and then we got Gio, which everyone's looking high on him, but he's only got 2 fights. Okay, now I always said if it goes into the later rounds, into the 5th and 6th rounds, how would that affect someone that's 37 years old? But now I'm thinking, okay, well, wait a minute. When you take experience and put experience into the factor, them later rounds may not favor Gio as much as they think it's going to favor him.
They may not.
Because he may be like a loose thread out there not knowing what to do. We don't know.
What you're talking about is what happens if he gets into deep water. Is he going to sink or is he going to swim? We've never questioned your endurance. Brad has fought 8 rounders.
He's going to be there.
Numerous times. 6, 8 rounders. He's never faltered. He's never, not been able to get through those 8 rounds. I think what people need to understand about this fight is, like you said, in Colorado, there's no big time promoters.
Yeah.
There's no one to guide a career unless they're gonna pull all the money out of their pocket.
Yeah.
Gio has to take this fight, or he has to fight on the road. Plain and simple. And Brad knows a little bit about that too. You can fight at home, but sometimes you run out of opponents. So
Yep.
sometimes you have to take your act on the road. And, you know, I don't think Jeremy Ramos would have fought Gio. I don't think Bobby Atencio would have fought Gio.
No.
They picked Brad because they knew Brad was going to come to the table. And they need the experience because Brad, like he said, he's never been knocked out. He's been 6 and 8 rounds multiple times in his career. They're looking for experience, they're looking for rounds, and they're looking to see where Gio is at this point in his career. But they also don't want to train 6 weeks, show up to a weigh-in, and the guy don't show up. Brad's never done that.
Yeah, he's good. Well, I'll tell you what. I think this is going to be an outstanding a contest. I think people are going to be surprised at what they see in this outcome. Here you got B Local.
Mm-hmm.
Here you got B
Yes,
Local
sir.
that's as focused as I've ever seen him. I mean, that's as determined as I've ever seen him. And like I said before, I followed his career since he started, way back years and years and years ago. So I'm looking forward to the test. And I'm gonna tell you what, guys. In my assumption, this fight is not a test for Brad. It's a test for Gio. Okay. So will Gio pass the test? Well, not if B Local has his way. Not if B Local goes in there and does his thing. It's not gonna happen. So,
I promise you. And man, I'm told you I'm on another level. Going to Donald, man, made me on another level. And it's funny because when I used to train myself, man, and I'm this good training myself, I was big, but it was different big. And now I'm big and tight.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody see it, man. And I'm like, man, Donald don't play. DeVero's good too. DeVero's good, but one thing about Donald, he cares. That's the difference between him and DeVero. Fucking Donald really, truly, sincerely cares. Yes.
Genuine cares.
Yes, and that's why he makes good fighters, because that heart.
Heart goes a long way. Ladies and gentlemen, July 19th, Red and Jerry's Airtight Boxing with Steve Messes. Brad B. Local Jackson versus Gio the Predator Merceron. Please come out and check out the fight. It's going to be explosive.
All right. Thank you very much, Brad. Thank you very much.
Thank
we
you.
look forward. We'll be there.
It,
We'll be there to take
Thank
it.
you, Brad, for taking the time out of the day.
Yeah.
And for everyone out there, remember, always keep them hands up.